A lot of stuff that we talk about on this team is turning into the type of person you need to become who isn't afraid of investing in themselves anymore. So when that fear starts to come on, we do a lot of mindset work. And so when that fear starts to come on, I like to have the conversation about, okay, so the way that you're reacting right now and the way that you're talking to yourself is with the type of person that has gotten you up into this point,
Hmm.
right? Like you've been to a couple of IMOs, you've had other jobs, you're not where you want to be, you feel like you're still struggling climbing up that hill. If you continue to make the same type of decisions that that person is making, that's gotten you to the place where you still feel like you're struggling, you're always going to be in that spot. But if you put yourself in the mindset of the person you want to become, the person that you're working hard to be, what type of decision does that person make? The person that's already making a multiple six-figure income, the person that isn't afraid of large numbers and doesn't live in scarcity. What type of person is that? Let's live in that mindset and take immediate action and start to make changes that your past self did not make, because that's only gotten you to this point.
What is going on? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. Man, I got a guest I'm excited about today. She's been on the channel a couple times, but it's been a while. I think it was like 3 years ago, maybe a year ago, something like that. It has been a minute. Also, if at any point during this, you're like, dude, I would like to see more content like this, training courses, live dials. If you're doing telesales, you can go to castudios.tv. I'm also going to ask some additional maybe more private type questions, extra content for studios at the end of the podcast as well, which will feature there. This individual is someone that I respect a ton. When it comes to final expense telesales training, she is incredible, world-class, and she's had a lot of changes in her world. I'm excited to dive into those. So please welcome back to the Power Player Podcast, Dana Nesen.
Hey, Cody. Thank you so much for having me again. I think this is my third time on the channel now.
Yes, I was just looking that up. Exactly. I'm and a lot has changed because the first couple of times one was like, yeah, a couple of years ago, and it was she wrote 300,000 in Final Expense Telesales the first year, which was really crazy impressive, by the way. And then about a year ago, or maybe a little bit more, it was like how to sell Final Expense over the phone as a new agent. However, I wanted to start, and we'll get into some content about telesales and some nuggets again. Dana's incredible. But I feel like a lot has changed with you since the last time we had you on the podcast. What is
Yeah.
going? You launched your own thing. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's no secret anymore. But in January of this year, I did part ways with the captive agency that I was at, where I had built a telesales division to 5 million a year. And January 7th of this year, they kind of decided they didn't want to support
Hmm.
telesales anymore, and we parted ways. And overnight, I had no team and I had no income. Literally in less than 24 hours. So was trying to figure out what my next steps were going to be. I had a moment where I didn't know if I even wanted to stay in the industry because, the emotions of it all. But after about 2 weeks and 20 different opportunity calls with different agencies and IMOs, I did end up creating Empower Life Group, my new agency, and I partnered with Lasting Mark, the IMO. So here we are now. It's been 7-8 months.
Yeah, for real. It's been crazy. And I get to see you all the time now, obviously, because my father and Roger Short and the whole crew with Lasting Mark, and I'm at all the
Yeah.
events and stuff, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Why the word empower? I'm always curious when it comes to branding. Why the word empower?
Mhm. I was at a travel competition for my daughter's gymnastics, and it was like almost midnight, and we were sitting in this hotel room, and I was texting a couple of agents about next steps and where I was going to go, and someone had said, "What's the name of your new agency going to be?" And I was like, "I don't have a name yet. I'm trying to figure that out." And the agent said to me, well, what do you want to build for your company? Like, what do you envision when you think about that? And I said, I really just want to empower agents to build the business that speaks to them and give them the blueprint to do it. And that's through a text conversation is how it was born. It just past midnight. I bought the domain that night, and the rest is history.
Oh my gosh, I love those stories. It's like it is that's the best way to name something, honestly. It's like, what are you trying to accomplish and what comes to you, you know?
And I couldn't believe it was available.
I can't either.
I was like, there's no way. And
It's
just like when I created the Final Expense Telesales YouTube channel, I was like, how
yeah,
is this? I feel like I've been in the right place at the right time throughout this journey,
true,
which is kind of
true.
cool.
Yeah. Well, and you're, at the level in which you service and support and care, um, yeah, good things happen to good people.
Thank you.
So also too, how is the agency? I want to get to like success people are seeing and some of those things. You have a lot of agents that are doing really well.
Yeah.
Um, how's the agency evolved since January? Right now it's September 11th, 9/11.
Yeah. Well, I would say the month of February, it was primarily just interviewing a lot of agents. I feel so fortunate and blessed that the fact that I made the decision to put myself out there on social media during the years in my time at my first company, um, there were so many people that reached out that wanted to understand more about what I was doing and wanted to work with me. So February, I did just all I did was interview and build. And I knew that the most important thing to me was building the right foundation. So, like, I
Mm,
had pictured, what do I want my agency to look like? What do I want the agent experience to look like? If I was an agent coming into this business, what would I want my experience to be? And so I started building my agent university and making it very easy to understand and go through, so that by the time someone got done with it, they had a very clear direction
mm.
on what to do next. So I spent most of February doing that. We really didn't start writing any business until March. And I think the whole agency like wrote less than 30,000 because we were still working on contracting, and
Sure.
that's a whole mess in itself.
Oh, man. How did it feel though, real quick? How did it feel to go from 400 grand a month and then like that, a couple months we're starting over. We're back at 30 grand.
It was a mixture of excitement and overwhelm at the same time.
Yeah.
We were actually doing more than 500,000 a month
Wow.
to go to zero. But I saw the bigger picture, and I'm a big picture person. Like, if you don't give it a good 5 years, you didn't even try.
Mm.
So I mean, what's 1 month? We're just building.
Yeah.
But the end of, I didn't write this down, but the end of August, we submitted, and the issue paid report in the broker world, it comes out like 30 days later. So what we submitted in August was over 400,000 already. So we're already back to
Oh
almost
my
where
god.
we were in just 7 months, to what took me almost 5 years at the first place to get there.
Wow. That was gonna be one of my wild card bonus questions later in the interview was like, hey, when do you think you'll get back to 5 million? It's like, I think the next 12 months or soon.
Yeah, so if I go, yeah, I had posted it
Now
on the
that is
whiteboard,
exciting.
like 452,384 was our August submitted production.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Like, and you started
Yeah.
seeing production in March, technically?
March, yeah, is when we started writing some business, and we've
Sixth month,
we have
month six.
increased.
Month
That's six.
6 from March to August. Yeah, if 6 months. That's crazy.
And I really credit it to the people that we're bringing in, the expectations that we've set, I think is really important, because I don't just bring on everybody that has shiny object syndrome, right?
Mm,
And still, like, even here, not everybody makes it because they realize they kind of got in over their head, and maybe entrepreneurship wasn't for them. But I mean, so far, we have so many success stories. I just did an interview today that's going to be airing on my channel tomorrow, which once this airs, it'll be in the past, of an agent that came here. She was only writing about 10,000 a month at her previous IMO, and she'd been there for about a year. She loved them. She had great relationships with them, but she felt like she was kind of plateaued. And we documented her journey. She came here in April. She wrote 6,700, May 16,000, June 25,000, July 25,000, and August she wrote 40,000.
Wow.
And I have her story coming out on my channel tomorrow, and she, credits it all without really spending anything extra on leads to, what she's gotten for sales training and the support here with what we've built.
It's amazing. Congratulations. It matters. That's for sure. I mean, same, you can be in one. I mean, that speaks to like, how difficult the industry is and how, being in the right seat on the right bus is really valuable, because you can be at one place and be writing 10 grand, and another place be writing, 40 as an
40.
example.
But
Like,
on the same token, Cody, I find it fascinating. I just had a huge aha moment the other day. I really didn't realize that not everybody wants to be part of something like what we've built, like a big, community where all your contracts are in one place, and we get together as a big group. Like, I had somebody leave this week who, not the person we were talking about earlier, somebody else,
yeah,
and he said he felt trapped. He didn't feel free. And so I think that's a really important distinguishing factor, that I am all community, all in for the bigger purpose,
yeah.
edifying, the people above me. And some people are like, whoa, like
Wow.
that's a little bit too much. I just want to be on my own island. I want my contract spread out with multiple carriers, and all I care about is comp, and that's okay.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's not normal. I don't think that's what most people want, frankly, but however, um, that goes back to the expectations.
Right.
I'm going to interrupt the podcast to tell you about our Kaboom leads that are literally blowing up. If you would love to never get disconnected numbers or wrong numbers ever again, then you will love our leads at Kaboom Leads. All of our lead types, we text the prospect a 6-digit security code. They go back in the funnel and put that in to verify that it is a real, accurate cell phone number, and they've responded to a text message. We do this for all of our lead types. If you haven't tried Kaboom Leads, you can use coupon code podcast to get 10% off of your very first order at CABOOM, kaboomleads.com. Back to the show. From an expectation standpoint, I was kind of curious for like both parties. Like, what are things that you're like, here's my expectations for an
Mhm.
agent that's learning about the industry, or for an agency that's trying to learn and grow? Both ways, like yours, but also yours for them.
Um, so my expectations, I guess that you're asking, what will they expect from me, and
Sure.
what do I? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to like a group opportunity call, I show them, the whole behind the scenes of all the resources that they have access to, both pre-recorded and live.
Hmm.
I don't sell, but I'm present. And I'm still hosting the trainings. I host live dial sessions. My live dial sessions are a little different than I think than some other companies, where people sign up for slots. So that's it's actual formal training. So they're in there signing up for a slot. I'm in there coaching them, and other people can watch. Where, like, if you're just in like a rogue live dial session, you don't know if you're going to be hearing good habits, bad habits. Um,
Fair.
I don't know. So I'm very structured.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I'm kind of showing them, look, here's everything I'm giving to you. I am showing up, whether it's a hard day for me or not, because I really care about your success. Now, in return, right, because I'm giving 150% of
Mhm.
my effort. In return, ideally, we want someone that wants to work full time. I have been a little bit more flexible with people transitioning from a job to the industry, as long as there's like an exit strategy.
Yes.
Um, it is very important to me that people understand the volume of leads. And I really think that's the most important thing, right? That's the hill I'm going to die on. That if you don't have a law of large number lead inventory working for you, I mean, you're just going to claw and scratch your way to failure,
Mm,
hoping that this 20 batch of leads is going to bring you to salvation. And so I say, if you have a scarcity mindset and 20 leads is all you can afford, we're not the agency for you, because I
mm,
can't help someone that cannot put themselves in at least a better position to be successful. So, I mean, that may be harsh and people might not want to hear it, but I mean, I'm seeing success with this
yeah.
model. Agents are seeing success. We're doing this in a short period of time. We may not be $1 million a month agency, but you have to remember, I came here with a non-compete clause. I had just me. I could bring nobody with me. No, I was not pre-planning any of this. So it really was starting from scratch.
Yeah, it definitely was. I respect how of a direct style of personality you have. By the way, like if I'm an agent, I want to know. If I'm anybody, I want to know up front. I don't want stuff to be hidden. I like that you're like, this is what we, like even the volume of leads thing. Like I agree. Like it's really hard to succeed by purchasing the minimum amount of leads every week. Well, what do you think the volume? What do you think the minimum volume needs to be?
I mean, I'm at 100 weekly.
Wow.
I really do. And I have agents here that have fear, right? They have fear of that, especially if they're purchasing leads from a third party lead vendor like CABOOM, or there's a few other ones out there. You're paying anywhere from 17 to 20 plus dollars for leads, and I'm asking people to spend close to $2,000 a week. That is a lot of money, right? They're just hoping to make $2,000 a week. So I do have options for people to self generate their leads at a lower cost per lead, but that takes time, to build that up. So in the meantime, I do say, hey, let's get you on like a front loading plan with these third party leads. But if someone's going to go all in, Cody, I am helping people with leads. So
Yeah.
just yesterday, I had someone buy some leads, and she was like, okay, but I only want to do 75. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to pay for the 25 lead difference because you're getting 100.
Wow.
So, I do invest in my agents to kind of help them when they need it.
It's amazing. Obviously not for everybody, but hey, when they're trying and they're hungry and they're committed, like you can tell. What type of return do you look like? Is there metrics or return on investment if an agent's trying to think through the math of like, okay, if I'm spending, just say I get 100 leads a week and they're 17 bucks a piece, and I spend $1,700 a week.
Mhm.
What do you like to see? What should they see out of that?
I'd like to see a cost per acquisition of around $250 or less.
Okay.
So if they're spending 1,700 divided by 250, that should be about 7 sales off of 100 leads, which is a 7% conversion rate. I
Okay.
think a brand new agent off the street with no experience at a minimum should fall over 5%. And some of the reason that a 20 lead purchase doesn't work is that a 5% conversion rate on 20 leads is 1 sale. And that's kind of like a prayer, like hoping you get enough people to answer the phone to where you get 1 sale. And depending on your skill set, that may not happen at all.
True.
So, having that momentum and that practice to have multiple conversations, I really push for 3 to 5 presentations per day.
Wow.
Is really where I feel the sweet spot is for people to feel like they're being productive during the day. They're having lots of conversations, lots of opportunity. And then it doesn't matter at that point what doesn't issue or what charges back, because you're selling more than what's falling off.
Yes. Yeah. And too, like for those that are hearing this, maybe for the first time, this is amazing info. It allows some separation, some like margin. Like if it's one out of, I pay 500 bucks for 20 leads, I sell one, cost per acquisition was $500. Where you can see if you just have a little bit higher, just slightly higher close rate, even 5% off of, let's even do this, like even say same 5% close rate, 20
Hmm.
leads, 100 leads.
Hmm.
One, you have 1 sell. The other, you have 5 sells. I don't know what
Hmm.
average premium you see.
Um, you know, I, It's actually higher, actually, on the broker side than it was on the captive side for some reason. I'm seeing definitely closer to 1,000, 900 to 1,000, where my old answer would have been closer to like 650, 700.
Okay, cool. So even in that example, like, okay, $500, 20 leads, one sell, $1,000. Okay, I got 2x in a very small sample size. That clearly isn't the best way to do it. Then the other way, you get 100 leads, you close 5%, same 5%, which is minimum, which is not good. Ideally better, like you talked
Yes.
about. Then that's 5 sales, $1,000 a piece. That's 5K. In this example, you've 3x'd your $1,700. Worst case scenario, depending on some factors, right? So it just, yeah, I do get like the law of large numbers, and there's more follow up in future weeks or future
Yeah.
days from those leads that you couldn't reach, and that helps increase the close a little bit over time from a batch you may have got a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's interesting how that works out.
You know, a lot of stuff that we talk about on this team is turning into the type of person you need to become who isn't afraid of investing in themselves anymore. So when we get that, when that fear starts to come on, we do a lot of mindset work. And so when that fear starts to come on, I like to have the conversation about, okay, so the way that you're reacting right now and the way that you're talking to yourself is with the type of person that has gotten you up into this point,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you've been to a couple of IMOs, you've had other jobs, you're not where you want to be, you feel like you're still struggling climbing up that hill. If you continue to make the same type of decisions that that person is making, that's gotten you to the place where you still feel like you're struggling, you're always going to be in that spot. But if you put yourself in the mindset of the person you want to become, the person that you're working hard to be, what type of decision does that person make? The person that's already making a multiple six-figure income, the person that isn't afraid of large numbers and doesn't live in scarcity. What type of person is that? Let's live in that mindset and take immediate action and start to make changes that your past self did not make, because that's only gotten you to this point. In order to now get you to the place where you are trying to become, you have to make decisions based on the person that you're trying to become, not the person that you are today. Right. And so,
Yes.
really speaking to people in that way and getting them to think about, in order to change, you have to become that person now. You can't wait to turn into them. So that's really helped, helping people get that confidence to really bet on themselves.
Yeah, smart. It's amazing. I love that that's the case because I totally agree. Like if someone can grow personally, the sky's the limit, and yeah, they have to. To get there, they got to grow. What's the average agent write per week? You think on your team?
For the agents that are writing, I would say probably average 5,000.
Solid, solid. Yeah. So I mean, if an agent will plug in and write, there's the opportunity to write a quarter mil a year. And
Definitely.
be average, really, which is that's awesome. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not happening a lot of places. So congrats that it's happening at Empower. It's exciting.
And again, prefacing with the ones that are showing up to work, right? If I were to include the ones that weren't working at all, it might be a lot lower.
Yeah, yeah. Understood. Totally agree. Totally agree. One thing we've heard a lot, I think you guys that are listening have heard this a bunch today, is blueprint, systems, structures, processes. Like your personality is very intentional on it being a duplicatable, repeatable,
Hmm.
for anyone. You don't want just the outlier, the superstar to just, be able to crush it, but nobody else can.
Yeah.
Um, where does that personality, with two questions. One, where does that come from personality? Like why are you wired that way? If and then two, why is that important to focus on for your agency and to help your agents?
I think a lot of it comes from the first leg of my career being an employee, right? I've been in telesales since 2004. Both
Wow.
prior careers were an employee, and the last one was from a Fortune 500 company and like a News Corp company. And just seeing and witnessing what a large company does to onboard and prepare agents to be successful in the systems that they use, and that everybody has access to the same things, and still inevitably there's turnover. And then coming into this industry and seeing none of that, I was like, this is insanity. How, like, even though we're independent contractors, we're still humans, right? If and I go back to the franchise example a lot. If you were going to go buy a Chick-fil-A franchise, they're not going to just say, okay, go buy a building and go figure it out, right? Like, you're going to have a blueprint that's worked for the people that came before you, it's designed for you to be successful. So when I got here and I saw that it was just, for the most part, kind of chaotic,
Mm.
it just was intuitive to me that whether you're an employee or an independent contractor, you have to have a blueprint so that I'm at least giving you the opportunity to be successful. I always tell people that if it doesn't work for you, my whole goal is you cannot say, my upline didn't give me training, my upline didn't give me the support. Like,
Yeah.
the only thing that you have to now be confronted with is yourself. And that is a scary place for people to be, because when the only thing they have left is their self and there's nobody else to blame, do I really want to step into that?
Mm.
Right? It's a blessing and a curse. But I didn't want the unicorns. I didn't just want the unicorns. When I show
Agreed.
someone what the systems are, I also ask, like, how many of you, whether it's now or in the future, see yourself running a business and having a team? Because when I show you this stuff, this is also for the benefit of the agents you haven't met yet. It's not just you that are going to come in and receive this, it's also your future team. It doesn't all have to fall on your shoulders. We are doing this together so that you can edify me, I can edify you, we both edify our IMO, and we all work as a group to make sure that the agents can thrive.
Amen. So good. I love this. This has been incredible. I got a few other questions I want to ask, but I'm going to save them for behind the scenes for CA Studios. If they want to learn more and keep following you and stay in touch, what do they do and where do they go?
My website is empowerlifegroup.com. You can click join now to schedule a group opportunity call. Of course, my YouTube channel is where all of my free content lives, and that's Final Expense Telesales. Same with Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook with my name, Dana Nesen.
I love it. Amazing. Phenomenal interview. Thank you for all you do. Excited to ask some additional questions, but thank you for being back on the podcast.
Thanks, Cody.
Also, thank you guys for hanging with us and listening. I'm about to ask probably 4 additional questions of Dana over the next few minutes, and to see that extra content, also live dials, courses, coaching, etc. Check out our streaming training platform, castudios.tv. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Let me know what your favorite part of today's podcast was. Jump in comments and say, bro, this nugget right here was powerful and it helped me. Maybe you didn't want to hear it, but maybe it still helped you. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Power Player Podcast. CABOOM.